The social feeling of communion plus all that is it engenders arises after the act performed together. So if a lot of us are still, especially in the Carolinas, we're still cleaning up and building houses, right? So we're all getting together and realizing, oh my gosh, there are homeless people, there are babies, there are people without clothing, and winter's coming, right? So there's this sense of like urgency that we all got to get together and get help to our comrades, our brothers and sisters who all just went through this trauma, right? So this is part of the energy too. It's like it's a unifying event, and it's unity through death and destruction, but it's still unity. Okay. And sometimes that's the only way we do unify is when something traumatic happens on this planet. That's what we're starting to realize. So let's get back to the Sabian symbol. Okay, the social feeling of communion plus all that it engenders arises after the act performed together. Activity is at the root of consciousness. Activity in common generates social consciousness and cultural patterns, which become set in the form of institutions. A group personality emerges, which displays characteristic features and gives birth to collective emotions and values. Very much Taurus. Taurus is all about values, right? Opposition energy, Uranus. We had an unexpected change, unexpected shifts in our our geology, our Earth that has made us come together. So what are we going to do about it? How are we going to unite? How are we going to unite? How are we going to come together? Because we're being forced to right now. This is real time energy that's happening. And what do we value, right? We value life. We value being in this country. We value in the United States right now, and whatever was considered American or to be a U.S. citizen, held a point of honor. And again, we thought we were comrades, but this country has been so divisive, especially since 2020, and now the opportunity with all these transits that are happening right now, real time, with this new moon in Scorpio, is saying, look, this is a time to unite. This is a time to get your shit together. Look, trauma has happened to everybody on this planet, not just a few of you or one or two of you. It's millions and millions of you are suffering and going through these global shifts that some of it's nature induced, some of it's not. But we know Pisces definitely in water, and the ocean is definitely going to be involved in this, right? So how are we going to emerge based on what we value? And base what on our values are, what our true values are, right? Where is our moral compass leading us into these transfiguring energies that are happening real time? This is the final stage of the 44th fivefold sequence. Wherever the symbol appears, it suggests the importance of establishing or strengthening links with those with whom one has shared or can share living experiences. The value of comradeship is emphasized. So this is what I'm hearing too is like, look, for those of us who have had a lot of trauma, it's time to unite. It's time to get our shit together. It's time to bring our country together. All the points of division. We're in election season right now. There's a lot of political poles that are dividing ourselves, our consciousness, our country. But this new moon in Scorpio is saying, look, take that trauma, take that pain body, take what you've experienced, and make it a value to unite, that we know that life is valuable, that we love this country no matter how it has been up until now, whatever the story that you're following. It's still loved. It's our beloved land. This is Taurus. Or it's our beloved earth. And we share these plots of spaces together. And when trauma happens, we've got to unite. So that's what I'm hearing coming in really strong too with the Sabian symbol in the new moon. And again, the censorship is real. I just experienced it. I've never experienced something like that before. And it's showing me really there is definitely the war of the mind happening right now. The war of beliefs. What do you believe? What are you seeing on your media? And what are you deciding is true for you? And again, frequency, the truth doesn't lie. It's a frequency. And the truth is its own note. just like the lie is a note. So we're learning to discern between the two right now. So take this time in this deeply inward journey, because Scorpio is a feminine sign, opposite Taurus, which is also feminine, which is trining Cancer, also feminine. It's asking us to tap into our emotions and to manage our emotions and be in our heart as much as we can, even if we're pissed off, even if we're seeing the death and destruction still happening and the unfairness and the unjust of these governing systems that are collapsing, that are falling away, that are shifting, alchemizing right now. And what they shift and alchemize into is going to be based on what we think, on how we project, on how we're seeing our reality. It's happening real time. All we have is the now. So take this time during this new moon frequency, maybe go light a fire, because that's a transfigure, that's a transformer. Take some time journaling and write, be really focused. What do you want to create during this new seed point? There is a new seed germinating right now that's being planted. And in 2 weeks, we're going to have a full illumination, full moon in Taurus, which is going to show us, look, what are we creating on the earth during this time after we set our intention? We are in a comradeship right now. We got to get our stuff together. We got to unify, because there's just going to be more and more earth shifts that are going to be happening, whether it's going to be, more floods and more things to do with water, because we're at the last, Neptune still at its last degree point up until 2025 in Neptune in Pisces before it transited into Aries. But between, and now we're starting to see parts of the country that's going through, fire, right? What's going on in Utah and in that area. So there are earth shifts that are happening that are out of our control. Some of it's out of our control, some of it's not. But we have to realize that the unifier right now is the opportunity for us to go, wow, we are a human species that's going through some serious life-changing earth shit that's happening. So what are we going to do about it? Are we going to continue to divide and squabble about stuff that really doesn't matter in the long term? Or are we going to actually unite and go, you know what, we need to get houses built, we need to get our food clean, we need to get the water clean, we need to get air clean, right? We need to get back to the foundations. We need to get back to our roots. And our roots are strong and they're deep, and they're deeper than we even realize. And so this is part of the revelation of Mercury and Scorpio, is we're being shown deep, hidden truths that have existed in front of us the whole time. We just couldn't see it. Because again, we've been slowly poisoned through our waters and through our foods and through big pharma. And anyway, so I hope this stays up. I hope this makes it past all the AI stuff, because my throat chakra is open. This is my return, right? I have my Mercury in Scorpio. So this is my return of Mercury in Scorpio. I've always kind of felt these things, but I'm having the courage to speak on it, because what do we have to lose, right? I mean, death is not what we think it is. Death is just transformation. So if you're not scared of death and you're willing to open up your throat chakra, and it's at least a practice. I'm not saying I'm not scared of anything. I definitely have fears, but I'm losing those fears and getting more curious and using that Uranus more sort of rebelliousness to go, wait a minute, I have a voice. You have a voice. We all have a voice. We get to share it in the way we want to. And if somebody doesn't like what we have to say, then change the channel, turn it off, keep scrolling. It's no big deal. But the controllers in this world don't want you to have that option. And so that is what's shifting right now. And that is what I just experienced myself. So yeah, interesting times. But before we get off the channel, anybody here, I want to do a spontaneous card pull for anybody that's watching this right now, real time live, or whenever you see this. Again, thank you for being here with the channel. And today I was told to pull 3 cards. So I want you to take a moment and maybe, close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath. And I want you to imagine a card pull, either 1, 2, or 3, right? So just imagine card pull 1, 2, or 3. All right, you have your number. And this is the card deck I'm going to pull from, which is the Whispers of the Ocean, which again, we were just talking about Pisces and water, and this is a very watery sign, watery emotions happening right now. And so for those of us that have chosen card number 1, this is for card number 1, and I'm going to pull this live right now. What do people who have chosen card number 1, what do they need to know right now? What is the energy? Okay, It's number 49. And the card, this is the card here. You can take a look at it, get the colors. It looks very much like community too. And it says, be insightful and established. Ground and rebalance your energy.